How's it going, guys? This is Holly with Grindworx, and today we are talking about the top 5 best-selling Gerber knives on Grindworx. Now, just to be clear, these are not, in my estimation, the best Gerber knives you can get necessarily, but you guys voted with your dollars, and these are the 5 that you picked. So we're going to start off with a really interesting knife. This is the Gerber Remix Folder. It has a total length of 7.35 inches. This right here is a 2.9 inch 7CR17 MOV drop point blade. Has a hollow grind with a bead blast finish. As you can see, it does have a thumb stud opener, which was a little tricky for me to open, especially with this really interesting feature here where they have an O-ring mechanism rather than your typical pivot. And since my hand is small, getting my thumb around that is a little tricky, but really cool concept. We have an aluminum skeletonized handle with a liner lock. It is 3.64 ounces, and we've got a tip-up carry pocket clip, as well as a lanyard hole. Now, the really interesting thing about this O-ring feature here is that it gives you a different option as far as how you hold the knife. You can hold it with, just a typical grip, and it's fairly comfortable, but it is sort of a short handle there. Anybody with a hand larger than me is probably going to get down to a 3-finger grip. But if you kind of want to choke up on the knife here, you can kind of slip your finger in that hole, and it gives you a super solid, firm grip and a lot of control as far as how you're using that knife. Typically, I would do this by, kind of laying my index finger on the spine of the blade. You can also do that. I don't know why you would stick your thumb in there, but you have a few options, and I'm always a fan of variety. So really interesting option there. Next we have the Gerber Vise 9-in-1 multi-tool. If you don't know, Gerber makes like bajillions of multi-tools. There are so many different types and styles to choose from with a lot of different tool options, so definitely check out Gerber multi-tools. But this one has a closed length of 2.4 inches. It's only about 2 ounces, and as the title suggests, it has 9 tools. So let's check those out. First of all, we have a pair of needle nose pliers. One thing I really appreciate about this set is that it's spring-loaded, so it's very easy to keep in your hand. I feel like it would be very easy to use those pliers without accidentally dropping the tool as you're using it. It's also not a super strong spring, so I don't feel like you're gonna get a ton of fatigue. So we got our pliers. We also have here, let's turn this around. We have a serrated edge blade on that side. Over here we have a fine edge blade. We also have a really interesting bottle opener here that is combined with the medium flathead screwdriver. And then we have the small flathead over on this end. Then we've got our Phillips head driver, which also includes a file. And then lastly, there is a lanyard hole on this end to throw it on your keychain. So super handy tool. I'm pretty impressed with the fact that they've packed so many tools into such a small multi-tool. This is comparable to the size of your keychain fob, so it really doesn't take up a lot of space, and there's a lot of functionality packed in there. Next up, we have the Gerber Industrial EAB Lite Utility Knife. This goes for right around 10 bucks on the site. Overall, it is 5.1 inches long with a 1.5 inch blade. That's a standard size utility razor blade, so you can very easily replace the blade as you use it. As you can see, this little unit has actually been put to some pretty good use. We've got a stainless steel handle with a very slender liner lock. It's 2.5 ounces, and it has a tip-up carry pocket clip, which does double duty as a money clip. I think the ergonomics on this are pretty interesting. This little slot for the blade kind of acts as a place where you can choke up with your index finger as you're using it. I think I would have preferred a material other than stainless steel for the handle, just to make it a little more comfortable and to improve the grip. But overall, the design I think is pretty slick, especially if you're going to carry this as a money clip. Having that overall stainless steel finish does give it a nice polished look. Really interesting. If you deal with a lot of boxes, that's a good one for you. Next up, we have another multi-tool. This is the Gerber Curve, and this thing absolutely flies off the shelves. It's right around $12 right now. Closed, it's 2¼ inches long, and it weighs less than an ounce, 0.8 of an ounce. It includes 7 tools. We've got your little fine edge blade right there. And the rest of the tools, instead of using nail nicks, have these interesting little hooks down here that you can kind of get your fingernail on to pop them out. We've got a small flathead screwdriver. We've got a larger flathead screwdriver right there. And then we've got the Phillips head with the file. And then this is really interesting. We also have a combined carabiner and bottle opener. And a little extra note I forgot to mention, that blade is locking. Got a little spring-loaded lock right there, so to put the blade away you just push down on the lock. There it goes. So super handy little multi-tool, absolutely microscopic. I mean, this thing, I can see why this is so popular. Takes up very, very, very little space and is very functional, especially with that locking blade. So that's the Curve. Lastly, you guys probably all know this one. This is the Gerber Propel Downrange Auto. We have a total length of 8½ inches. That is a 3½ inch blade, CPM S30V steel. So a good quality steel that's gonna hold an edge really well. This particular model has a partially serrated blade, but it also comes with a plain edge, as well as a stone wash finish rather than this black finish you see here. We have G10 handle scales with stainless steel liners. It weighs 5.12 ounces, so a little heftier, but not too bad. And then we have a reversible pocket clip, so it can be either tip down or tip up carry per your preferences. It is made in the USA, and it features a safety mechanism right there because that button does sit up pretty high, and so there is a chance that you might deploy that accidentally. We've also got this beefy backspacer with a lanyard hole down there on that end. So good knife overall. I'm not terribly impressed with it. I mean, it's beefy, it's big, you're gonna be able to do a lot with it, but for me, if I'm gonna carry an automatic knife, I like it to have a little more kick. So compared to, you know, the Kalashnikov or some of your Kershaw launch knives out there, this action is a little less swift, but it certainly gets the job done. If you're looking for something that's well built and will give you the option of a one-handed open and close, this is a sweet option for you. So there you have the top 5 best-selling Gerber knives on Grindworx. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think of Gerber? Let me know in the comments below which Gerber knife you carry and which of these you think you'll add to your collection next. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when a new video drops. As always, I'll have links to these knives in the description below, and you can always jump on grindworx.com to see all the awesome Gerber knives we have there. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time.